Ladies and gentlemen of the FRL community, welcome back to GT3 Fridays in the PC division here. We're at the home of racing of Silverestone, in which our drivers will be competing very closely today, I fully imagine. I'm currently joined by one of the Flying Scotsmen, Chris Gedman, which makes a change from James. How are you today? I'm very good, my friend. Thanks for asking. Absolutely. Looking at practice times, it looked to be our usual of Alfie Baron and Mattia Nishira sitting in the top. However, Paul Labus seemed to be falling off a little bit. One of our main title contenders currently sitting in P2, just in behind Mattia. 213 points to Mattia's 221, which is like 8 points between them. Absolutely. And as we now have our first people doing a formation, I guess, no, it's not a formation lap. We have our first lot coming around to do their first laps of qualifying. Any expectations from you tonight, Chris? I know that a lot of the guys in the BMWs put out very, very good fights. In Brands Hatch, it was a very, very good midfield fight. I know you were part of that as well, yourself in your Porsche. Which is unfortunate, because personally I do like seeing your race and definitely taking your name to the Flying Scotsman. It's the same with what I race, being the AMG GT3. You set it up right, then you can throw it through corners and just hope for the best. Well, throw it through corners and yeah, pretty much. Especially when you're me, as our first time there set on the board, which by camera our second time, but being set, which was a 158.9. So we're only in 58s. As our first few laps now coming in, Zoltan Toth, as you predicted, taking P1, 158.6. And Leanmuller, now Mattia taking that position. It's now 158.3 is the time to beat. I fully expect us to break into the 156s. Absolutely. And there's the 157s now broken, without Alfie Baron setting a 157.8. Absolutely. It is. It is. Some of the guys I was saying to James last race that I know a few of them have DD wheels. I know Keddy does. I know he has a Fanatec something rather. I mean, James, I know who I'm currently, well, I say on board with, currently spectating. I know he uses a G29, which absolutely. I was saying last race that hardware and like stuff like DD wheels and load cell pedals can make all the difference, especially when you're going from something like a Logitech G29, which I know maybe a lot of the drivers on this grid have, that the brake pedal, stiff as anything unless you modify it, isn't load cell, and when you go over to that load cell pedal, you find that you don't have to put as much pressure in as you want to.
It's a very like linear braking ability, whereas with a load cell, there's got to be a massive difference. I mean, a lot of these guys are kind of making time up in their braking zone, whereas anyone driving like a generic G29 or a G920 as well, it's still very generic in comparison.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess it's because it's more the cheaper range of wheels than people can afford, especially for PC racing. Having most PC hardware at the moment be exceedingly expensive, thanks Bitcoin. Most PC hardware being very expensive, especially when it comes to stuff like pro sim racing and pretty much anything else.
I know, it's such an addicting thing, and you can see why it's such a popular sport. I'm saying sport, a popular hobby now. It's because you can make a lifestyle out of it as well as a hobby. A lot of the guys that I race with, they do have a working life, and they can't wait to get home from their working life and get right into the sim life. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm definitely one of those.
I think that's me, but dealing with school as well. It's kind of just an outlet, really. If you're stressed or anything, you can just, in the nicest way possible, crash a car into a wall.
That's it, and then that's it. Take it to the pits, go back out, put in some nice laps, and start feeling good about yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
So where is James just now then? So he's currently not set a lap, however this is him coming round to the
I think
final straight. Let's see if he's going to put a lap in. Yep, this will be him putting a lap in.
the 2032 coming in from James then.
Cool. So 5 seconds, just over 5 seconds off the pace. Oh, and we've already have a 5-second penalty for Riedenstein. We now have a new penalty system set in place, so that if everyone's happy to listen to my dulcet tones, if you do not afford the racers that are in front of you the necessary space to get their laps in for quali, like if you show too much aggression or you cause someone who's on an out lap, etc., to perhaps crash off, lose their line, lose time, etc., it's down to the stewards to have a good look at it and then sanction you with a 5-second penalty. And what this is trying to do is to get a cleaner league, a cleaner racing style. And if you're not willing to afford these guys their space on the grid to go out and do their laps, because there is 37, 36 cars out there now, it's going to be a sanction. This is something that the admin team put together in light of recent events. We're just trying to make things a little bit more seamless and safer for everyone to come out on track and get their laps in, get their times in. So there's plenty of space on Silverestone. It's a 2-minute lap, so give the guy in front of you 10 seconds, it's not a problem.
Lovely. Well, as far as I'm aware, that 5-second penalty then coming in for the 125 car at the end of qualifying, which will not be good in his eyes, but may possibly boost the people around him, which will be preferable for people like James.
Yeah. But I've seen Breitenstein before. He is quite quick. He's maybe a little bit miffed at that sanction there, if you think about it. So he's sitting in the pits, perhaps. I don't know. If he goes back out and perhaps does a faster.
Setting a P2 time. So our current front and second row, Alfie Baron, Lee Muller is the front row. Then we got Toth and Caracas on the second row, and Mattia unfortunately not being able to get himself on either the front or the second row, which is, I do have to say, very unlike him.
Yeah, very surprising indeed. 7/10 off. However, he is on an out lap.
I think it actually looks to be a flyer. Yeah, actually he's 3/10 up.
I'm currently sitting inside the cockpit with him, so let's see how it goes. Throwing it round the corner. Wow. He's got that thing driving on its head and the edge for knife.
Coming down to what would normally be the F1 turn 3, I think that is.
There we go. Car number 125, 5-second penalty for crowding and contacting in qualifying. So there we are.
That rule coming perfectly into place as we want it to then.
Yes, so
that's tight.
It was very nice of the Bentley to move out the road of him there.
I'm getting a little bit of internet problems due to the storm currently. But Mattia now setting a front row time, only 1.5 tenths from Alfie Baron.
And he's got one last lap to go. Baron's now sitting in the pits, I think, comfortable. But there we go. So the top 8 are separated by 1.2 seconds. Okay, I'm a little bit off my prediction.
I mean, that's still incredibly tight. The top 4 separated by 7 tenths. Which I find incredible as always from these drivers. Stupidly quick.
Let's see how James is getting on. Oh, he's in the pits. So he's sitting back in 30th. He's not had the fastest qualifying session. However, he's 4.4 seconds off. So that puts James on a 2 minutes and 2. It's still fairly tight. I mean, if you look at it, even from the slowest guy, number in 34th, Valenzuela, he's done a 2 minutes and 5. Again, not the fastest lap, but he's only 7 seconds off at the fastest, so it's still going to be fairly tight, I would say, throughout the first quarter of the race.
Absolutely. It's always as well when it comes down to that first round of traffic, where things can happen between fights can happen when you run into traffic, especially when you're running at the top, and there is the end of qualifying.
Yeah.
So looking at the grid, then it is set to be the number 96 car of Alfie Baron on pole position. Behind him is the number 15 of Mattia Nachura. We've got Lima in P3 and Zoltan Toth in P4, we're currently on board with. Caracas P5, Labouche P6, Zucchetti P7, O'Sullivan P8, number 95 Bentley in P9. I don't know how to pronounce that name at all. And then we got Cameron.
I would say here.
You you learn very quickly with me, Chris, that I tend to butcher the hell out of names.
Herkt. Let's call him Herkt. Need to have a loose tongue for that name. Oh. Oh. So we've got Michael Van Rees. Looks like something's gone wrong with his wheel.
Oh.
Oh, what is going on here? This guy's car just will not stop. Okay.
Well, that's odd.
We've still got one or two of them still out on track. We've got Nielsen trying to see if he can better his 18th spot. And then we have Bedemsi, who's currently out there as well.
There's actually a fair few of them still out.
Tugbert, good friend of mine through FRL. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he's put himself up into 18th.
And
it looks like he's just been disconnected.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I think that may have been the session ending actually. So, Rick Tadema actually as well. Another name to look out for. He looked good off the start in his Beamer before the patch came in for it, which made it drop off a little bit. But he is eventually looking to claw his way back up, and he made some great overtakes last time out at Spa.
I just had a little bit of a kind of blip there. For some reasons, everything kind of went a tad funny for me. But I think I'm back on track, so apologies if I missed what you said.
No, you're right. No worries at all. So, Mr. James Williams looking P32 in his very nicely painted FRL Ferrari. Is it a 488? I think.
Yes, Ferrari Evo. Oh, what's going on? Please don't do this to me. Oh. Hi, sorry, can you still hear me, Hydra?
Yeah, you're all good.
Apologies again, but I don't know what's happening here. I seem to have... Something's not right.
If you need to, you can restart your PC. We can I can do comms on my own for a sec whilst you're sorting yourself out if you need to.
Cool. Let's see. Right, I think it seems to have sorted itself out. But yeah, that's Breitenstein. It looks like he's dropped right down to 31st place with that 5-second penalty.
He has seemed to, yeah, which is not ideal for him. Been in a lot of traffic, especially off the start. Maybe under pressure from James, whilst also trying to put in pressure to the guys in front of the 992 McLaren just in front of him.
Yep. Right. So that was a fairly interesting qualifying session.
It was. It always is, especially with this PC. A few of them, once again, I will say, in the nicest way possible, are absolute aliens. Ridiculously fast.
They just show up all the other platforms, don't they?
They do, and it's that's not fair. So we do get underway for our formation lap now.
Also, is he out on track? Are the cars out on track?
They are indeed.
Right, I'll be back. I think there seems to be an issue with the server for me, so I'll very quickly just quit out and come back in.
No worries, my friend.
And we're back.
Lovely job. Alfie Baron being cheeky, already trying to get his gap as to Mattia as much as he possibly can. That old Mattia is just
Now, if these guys can get away at the start of the grid without any qualms or any kind of punishment from any of the kind of drivers behind, I think they're perhaps going to take off and become this small gaggle of 5 or 6 cars very quickly.
It's, with Mattia and Alfie last time out at Spa, they were quickly about 5-6 seconds off the guys in P3 and P4 within 3 or 4 laps.
That's frightening, isn't it? Frightening.
It's incredible. Another name to look out for, I'm just giving a shout out here at this point, is Popov in the number 48 McLaren. Made some great overtakes last time out at Spa, made some great fights, didn't get in the way of the leaders at all, and looked to be just all round racing as well as he possibly could, despite being as low down as he was.
Well, I think for qualifying, that's not giving me any of the stats because I had to cut out. So I think he was, it was maybe 1.8 seconds off the pace. I think I can remember seeing him before I got disconnected earlier. Which again is fantastic. 14 places, 14th place. If you can get a good start without any qualms, without any hits, you could put a wee battle in there for most of them.
Absolutely. Yes, we do have. Not quite yet, but we're coming towards Alfie Baron controlling the pace for the start then.
Excellent.
Have to forgive me for my lack of enthusiasm on the start, as I do tend to have, but there is a double file now coming in.
Yep.
We do just very slowly come around the final right-hander up to the line. Let's see who can get the best start then.
So that's Luffields. They're going round Luffields, coming into Woodcote, which is the home straight.
Let's see who can get the best start then. Will it be Alfie Baron on top, or will it be Mattia Nishira? As we do have them both starting to maybe slowly speed. That was odd. Very slowly speed up. He's looking for the green light. He wants it desperately. He wants to get away.
Oh, look at that. Cheeky, wee sneaky. And they're off.
And there is the green light. It is Alfie Baron getting away well with Lee Muller on the inside of Mattia Nishira. Mattia placing his car very well so he doesn't concede the position. And Alfie looking to have the better start and the better traction off the start. Maybe his tyre's just warmer than Mattia's, as it's Lee Muller to Toth to Caracas as the top 5 then. It looks already tight. There's a 0.3 gap between to Caracas. Caracas looking to maybe make a move on Toth into this down here. I apologise that I don't know Silverestone turn names, but
so they're just about to come up to Vale and then Club. So this is the small chicane. Tends to be quite a difficult corner. You can lose a lot of understeer here, and this is where it can cause a fair few incidents. We have a car number 82.
There's contact at the back. Sorry for interrupting you there, Chris. There's massive contact at the back between between, I think it was 4 different cars there. It was Imam Valanzula, I can't speak, Wilhine, unfortunately, in the Mercedes, and fortunately, one James Williams was not involved at all. Back up to the top, then Mattia Nishira now lagging behind Alfie Baron, 1.2 seconds to the leader. As it looks, Lienmo in his BMW maybe trying to get closer to Mattia, trying to make a move, maybe get his...
He's slightly closed that gap just as we come up through Woodcote into the main straight. It could just be cold tyres syndrome, so they're coming up to Cops, which is the corner one again. The tyres should start to be feeling that little bit better at this point, one lap in. They can start pushing their car as hard as possible and maybe still achieve that grip that they're requiring to get the good exit into Maggots and Beckett's. No, there's been another incident here at the back, so car number 34 and 92 seem to have 34 and 92 have had a wee clash, and it looks like 92's dived into the pits.
That's Nielsen. That's unusual for him. Normally quite a safe driver from what I've seen of him.
He could have been in the receiving end of it, perhaps.
As it stands down in P8, the number 216 Aston looking to make a move just in front of him. He doesn't manage to. It's very tight, and he now has Cameron behind him, P9, trying to get involved. Once again, great fights from the midfield, as it was last time out in Spa as well. We just see the leaders coming around turn one there. Cameron maybe trying to look to the inside. Sorry, Chris.
I'm just saying it's a fantastic clash of colours to watch these two cars battling it out. That sort of lovely matte red with the kind of green and off yellow tight behind them.
And looking around the field, there isn't as many battles. There is actually one here at the back of the field. Afonso trying to make a move on the number 70 long boy, not managing to, and is dropping back.
Right. He's carrying 666, and he's also carrying a 15-second penalty. He must have been involved in something just at in the outlap.
Trying to see that. Yep. That's looking at the logs. He has had contact.
There we are. Car number 12, collision. We also have car number 125, Brittenstein, who's also got a 15-second penalty. And if you look at the right-hand side of his BMW as he's coming up the main straight into Cops, he has damage and paintwork right up the right-hand side of his car. So possibly won't affect his race that much. Obviously damage is damage, but I think when it's on the sides of the car, it's going to give you still a really good chance of throwing that car in and out the corners without it affecting too much.
Sorry to well, not quite in, but there's now a battle for P15 as it is between Jordi Stratton and Rick Tadema. It looks as if Stratton did just win that battle. I was a little bit too late to it, but we can go have a look at it in a minute. But it doesn't look to be over, as he does maybe try to pull it into the inside, but doesn't manage to get it done.
He's closely being followed by Tadema, who shows quite good pace. Very consistent as well. He seems to be a kind of safe driver. He
absolutely is. Looking at his past performances, very consistent when he gets the feel of his tyres.
The pressure when it's needed. I mean, in Brands Hatch, he was always sticking his nose round, and I couldn't hold him off for too long. So I think he managed to take me very quickly after maybe 3 or 4 corners. He just knows how to throw that BMW into the corner. Tadema's now just coming up to Brooklands.
It does look to be. Sorry, George Stratton going off there, losing him a lot of time, but not gaining any. Tadema managing to gain on him quite a lot, and the gap only now 5/10 between these two.
It's amazing how much of a different driving line these guys take, yet they still manage to apply the pressure on each other.
That can always make the difference. The line and the traction you get out of the corner. Is Sedema maybe trying to look up the inside, doesn't manage to quite.
He's
Great
trying to force
racing
that
here.
error out of Popov, isn't he? Out of
Really is.
Stratton, sorry. Oh, he's forced the error. Oh, he's lost control.
Oh, Sedema a little bit rear end stepping out a little bit on him there, and he did manage to save it. However, Stratton losing out the position as there's now a battle behind them as well. There's Van Rees now getting overtaken by the number 38 car. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Defending very well with the car now on his outside going into this corner.
Car number 38, I would say. What's this?
He does defend very well from that 720S behind him. As the battle between Sedema and Stratton calms down, it's now these two trying to get involved with each other.
Yes. Oh,
And looking.
there's a warning been put up by the stewards. Number 7, you can defend, you cannot block. First warning.
Zachtel now, that number 7, trying to make a move for P19 on the Lexus of Zachtel, who I know can defend well. But he is now only 3/10 from him, trying to make a move again, the Ferrari. Isn't quite close enough just to get it done, but might still manage to use the toe to get as close as he can and maybe get it done on a straight rather than in a corner.
The main straight again into Cops. There's not too much of a kind of main straight here to get any toe from it, so you can lose a lot of your opponents here if you catch that braking right, and like just happened there, you can actually gain time if you get that braking zone right in turn 1. It can throw you, it can ruin your lap if you get it wrong.
Yep, only now 2/10 between these two as the Ferrari so close to the Lexus. Just over 2 car lengths now, I'd say, between them.
So as you're watching that battle, we have Jay Williams and Demastra fairly close to each other. They're within.
We do have a car in the grass, sorry, the number 700 Beamer just, I think, just spun.
There's contact.
And there's contact.
Aggressive. That was really aggressive.
See what the stewards say about that.
That was number
700 in the number 7 car. Oh wait, it wasn't, was it?
Yeah, number 7.
Yeah, that was
just came out that corner. He never gave any space there.
I hate to say it, but that was
just plowed right through him.
That was definitely his fault. I hate to say it, but.
Yep.
Don't see what else could have been done there. The number 700
another
car.
warning came up from the steward saying number 58, no bump drafting please, GT3 cars are very sensitive. He's a busy man tonight, I tell you.
As he always is, Del, having to keep an eye on everything. But as it looks, everyone having settled into their places, there is a fight for P20 as it is between, I think that's number 1 RMS and number 70 AMG, the Petrovics, and Kudasov.
Petrovics and Kudasov. Oh, it looks like Kudasov's just took the place.
That's so close between those two. As it always is with these drivers. Is Blanchett now trying to get involved as well?
Kudasov just drifted round Maggots and Beckett's. How we caught that, I've got absolutely no clue. That was skill at its maximum.
The number 5 Beamer of Blanchett now trying to get involved as well. He does try to go to the outside, maybe see if he can make a move. No, he's too far back. Sorry, Chris.
It's okay, I think he was trying to force the error on the Mercedes, which
did just happen.
Yes.
And he does get in the place.
Now going to get him under braking, and there we are.
Brilliant racing from in there. It does look as if our first few people have completed their pit stops. I'm just trying to have a look at that.
Yeah.
First few people have completed their pit stops, so they are looking to go along as the number 70 car Petrovic there, just having gone off, dropping down into P25 as there is a move happening in front of him. James Williams nearly losing out to Petrovic.
James is doing well. He's fought his way up from 32nd to 24th, so it's a mixture of overtaking and taking full advantage of people going off track. But he's had a fairly clean race so far, as you can see, all the drivers round about him with these penalties. And James, who just hammer and tongs, keep it going, and clean as you like.
Absolutely, as it always is with these drivers, and just up the front then. Lehmuller only 3/10 from Mattia, who is 3 seconds off the road, and Lehmuller maybe trying to make a move there. That was very tight for him, but Mattia Nishira 3.4 seconds from Alfie Barron, who well off in the distance.
I mean, if you think 6 laps, that's half a second a lap. He's just taken off.
He really is, and it's incredible from all of these drivers.
What might happen is later on in the race, if he does start kind of catch and toe on the back markers, this could then start offering Nishira an opportunity to gain space back on him. If he could just hold it at that 3 seconds mark,
And
then he's closed the gap slightly.
And James Williams now actually up into P23. So I think someone pit behind him. But it's now Petrovic putting the pressure on him, and he has managed to defend well, causing Petrovic to have an error behind him, which is once again looking to be fairly consistent from James.
Yep.
I'm going to say again, throughout the pack, looks to be fairly settled. As the number 7 car again, still stuck behind that 18 Lexus of Zach Donnelly. He does go to the outside, not managing to get anything done.
It's offering so much pressure on him, it's ridiculous. He's thrown that Ferrari around the track quite aggressively, and it seems to be sticking quite well.
Just have it set up absolutely perfectly then, as we do go on board just to see how close he really is getting. As my game freezes, I would appreciate if you didn't crash.
Yep, he's keeping on the toe of that Lexus through Maggots and Beckett's, throwing the weight of the car from left to right. It's got that balance perfect.
It does look to be fairly close. It's going to be close going into this right-hander. Once again, apologise that I don't know names. It does look maybe he's going to the inside. That's incredibly tight. Incredibly tight.
He's trying to get Zach Dahl to enforce an error. Zach Dahl's holding very well. He's holding true. He's holding strong. He's definitely looking in his rear mirror, because that Ferrari must have been filling that mirror from top to bottom, side to side. But he's held it.
Absolutely. It's incredible. There's Lehmuller in behind Mattia, looking to be fairly consistent with putting that pressure on. I don't think I've seen the gap go over 5/10. I don't know about you, but I don't think that it has.
Well, I think these two battling it out, Nishira and Lehmuller, they're causing themselves to slow down and allowing Alfie Barron to take off. I wonder if Nishira himself should perhaps let Lehmuller overtake him and use his draft.
That's very true. It's you can see Alfie there. If I go on board with Mattia, you can see you just see Alfie up the road 5 seconds from now. There's a Lee Miller point. He's 3/10 from Mattia, who goes off slightly there. Maybe Lee Miller as well, trying to force Mattia into nearly contact there again between these two.
That's trusting your brakes. Toth is keeping it true as well. He's got that white Beamer just still there or thereabouts. If any one of them make a mistake, these guys are there ready to pounce. And look at that livery. He's got beautiful white livery with lovely bright yellow, bright green wheels on it as well. Can't miss that in your rear mirror.
No, absolutely. It's it'd be difficult to miss, eh?
You've got a tactics there, try and put them off, get some white and some luminous green in there, get their eyes kind of all mixing about and keeping an eye on it.
Try and make them blind.
Still keeping it true in 6th as well, so he's there or thereabouts. Still quite tight at the top 6.
It's only, what was it? Ooh, Mattia 5.3. So it's now 7/10 between Lee Miller and Mattia. So Mattia may be pulling away. There's Toth 7/10 from Lee Miller as well. Trying to maybe catch up and get moved on and maybe look for, I think it's his first podium this season. I wouldn't be sure, but I know that Lee Miller last race out at Spa had his first podium of the season, which I would very much like to congratulate himself on.
So Alfie Barron, I can't necessarily. Oh, there he's there, Alfie Barron. Yep, he had a first place last week.
Oh, that's off.
So he's pushing for a first again this week. Is that right?
Sorry, I was looking for Zoltan Toth, who I don't think, as far as I'm aware, has had a podium this
Nope.
during the championship.
So
He hasn't.
He missed race 1. He was 9th and 11th and 7th and 7th. So this is definitely a very good performance by him.
Absolutely, if he can make that move on Lee Muller, then he can very much take his first podium of the season, depending on his pit stop strategy.
Boom. One and a half seconds on him.
And Toth as well, having the number 84 Bentley in behind him of Caracas, who also likes to put a lot of pressure on.
The Bentley is just very notorious for being extremely intimidating. I have seen a Bentley in real life. I visited Donington Park with a group of the guys from FRL, and the size of the Bentley in this particular game, in this platform, seeing it in person doesn't do it justice. It's slightly smaller. I think it's not as wide. It doesn't look as monstrous in this game. It's such a hindrance. If you can get anyone that can dial that Bentley in, they know that it can go over any corner that's thrown at it. It doesn't unbalance it at all. You can just keep like can for our drivers. So.
Alright, just hoping that I can reconnect. Okay, I can. Good. Right, just get myself back in the server.
That's a second stop and go I've seen, and I think it's down to speeding in the pit lane.
That's interesting.
Green light, give us all you can.
If you speed in the pit lane, it's a stop and go. Are we back?
We are indeed.
Hey!
Get my race control launched, and then we should be all good. Connect. Cool. And we are back where everything belongs, which is good. Would just like to point out that apparently the running has changed as Mattia Nachiro is now taking the lead from Alfie Baron, who I assume has made his pit stop.
Yes, Alfie Baron is just coming out the pits as we speak.
And we'll have to see what Mattia does then, whether he stays long, tries to leave the position, keep his net P1 position, or whether Alfie will end up taking it back during Mattia's pit stop.
Yeah. Stop and go. Speeding in the pit lane, car number 71. That's 3 or 4 now. I wonder if someone themselves, if maybe someone's hit the... Nope, the speed board is still there at the entry to the pits. So it must just be losing at the braking zone. It is a very, very fast entry into Silverestone. You come out of left field, and by the time you get to the pit entry, you're probably doing over 100 miles per hour.
Yeah. There's Mattia now actually in for his stop then. And unfortunately doesn't have enough time over Alfie, so it'll be Alfie Baron into P1. I think maybe Lean Muller into P2.
Oh, that's interesting. There is a 5-second gap there, and Nishira himself had a 5-second gap, so it's going to be very tight between him and Lee Miller.
I think
Lee
they
Miller
are going to be
holding the fastest lap.
I think a 158.0. So it looks to be that they'll be racing on the exit, Mattia and Lee Miller. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, there we go, he's dropped. And that's him just coming round into Woodcote.
Mattia now pit exit. Be incredibly tight between these two. Let's see what it is, and he does barely come out on top.
Just out in front of him.
But let's see if Lee Muller can now put that pressure on Mattia, as he is on cold tyres, and he is already 4 tenths from him.
There we go. Look at that. That's strategy right there. So
planning
we
out
have
things in advance.
O'Sullivan, Tadema and Van Rees net first, second and third. That, however, won't last very long because they'll need to pit themselves depending on their strategy, and that'll put our Alfie Barn, Nachira and Leanman back into first, second and third. It has been such a close race with these three, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely, it's always great racing in this server. Lynn Muller now 0.3 from Mattia. 0.2, incredibly close on these cold tyres, maybe trying to get them moved down. He does look to the outside, not managed to get anything of it because Mattia placing his car very inconveniently for Lee Miller.
Yes. Let's see, there's a couple of a battle going on just now. Let me see. So we've got 13th, 14th, 15th, 13th, 14th and 15th. So we have Kasha Tarash, apologies if I'm getting your name incorrect. He's been put under a lot of pressure by Stratton and the Beamer. So he's making that number 789 Ferrari work hard. Beautiful kind of pink and sort of, I would say like a lovely off shade of purple blue.
Yeah, he does have a beautiful livery, I will say that.
Seems to be the battle of the Ferraris and the Beamers out there. And we've got Tadema's now pitted. O'Sullivan and Van Rees have still to pit, so I don't think Barron, Nachira and Liam Blair have anything to worry about.
I don't. There's Alfie back on to P3.
So
Mattia in P4 and Lee Muller in P5. Now 4 tenths from Mattia, so Mattia's tyres now settling in with him as he does start to get back up to speed.
James himself, he's managing to hold it strong in 26th. He's maybe lost a few spaces. He seems to be putting a little bit of pressure on Alfonso. He's kind of closing the gap slightly.
He is indeed. Alfonso, the number 666 Lamborghini.
Yeah, he's just coming round Aintree, so right up this straight, if you can get that Ferrari to work under braking in the corners, you might be able to catch some space on Alfonso. Round Brooklands into Liftfield and then onto the Woodcote home straight.
There's Marco Van Rees now making his, I think it's Marco, Van Rees making his pit stop, which leaves O'Sullivan out in P1, who, as far as I'm aware of, hasn't pitted, but...
Little mistake there for James, just leaving Woodcote. Sorry, leaving Cops, going into Maggots and Beckett's.
But he does look to be closing that gap. It's now 3.8 is now the gap between number 41 Ferrari James Williams and 666.
Excellent.
He then has a further 6-second gap ahead of him. I'll look for close fights here. There's the number 700 car, only 4/10 from Nielsen, who looks to be under pressure, whilst also, I think, being backed up by a lapped car. In fact, which we'll have to get out of the way for him as soon as possible. Where is that lapped car?
No, that's 20th to 22nd, battling it out. So this is for position between the three of them.
Oh, it is. Wow. Didn't notice that. Wow.
Excellent. That's what we like to see. And that's O'Sullivan now pitted. So that's going to give Alfie Barron his place back.
It does look to be as we started with the top four then, as O'Sullivan having pitted then.
Yep.
I think you can say from your own experience that going long maybe isn't the best idea.
It tends to be my plan of action, only to see if I can take advantage of anyone maybe making a mistake, but it tends to be me that makes the mistake. So the plan to go long sometimes works. I mean, I've had no bad results, especially on the amount of races that I've taken part in. It's kind of balanced out, I would say 30-70. But that's just down to my unfortunate inexperience. I've only been doing this for 2 years.
Sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you because Lean Muller now making a move on Mattia Nechira, and he does get it done. Mattia unfortunately backed up by a lapped car. That's going to be great to have a look back at. And he was held up by a lapped car, which was unfortunate for him, but Lean Muller did manage to capitalise on it.
So it was number 27. I'll go and have a wee look at that now. Car 27.
That's, I hate to say it, but that was shocking from that armed car.
Number 39. Apologies. Let's have a look. So it was the back marker number 39, who was currently in 27th place. So let's have a look and see what happened there.
Don't know if there was contact or anything, but doesn't look as if there was just being held up. I mean, I hate to say it, but he should have got out of the way a lot sooner, especially when you've got two cars that are battling, as Mattia actually having now dropped off. Lienmuller is now 0.8 from him, which was maybe made him lose a little bit of concentration, having lost that position.
Well, what happened was he actually, oh, what a terrible, terrible, terrible piece of driving. Unfortunately, he's come out of Maggots and Beckett's. He's took the car right in the middle of the track, over onto the apex, and then tried to drag the car wide. I think not quick enough to get out the roads, and that's caused the overtake.
Well, I mean, racing incident, really.
It could be put down as a racing incident, really. He's not doing anything other than staying on the racing line as best he can. It's up to the cars, the faster cars behind, to overtake in a safe manner, yes. However, I think in this instance, the guy in the number 39, he's made a very slight mistake. His timing was, unfortunately, couldn't have been any worse. But that's just how racing goes, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Number 39 is Stephen R. It looks like he has a counterpart racing on the track as well. However, but unfortunately, there's 5 cars have either disconnected or rage quit, and I think the other BTX representative has left the server.
He has, unfortunately, that I can see.
Oh,
and,
there we are. So he's struggling to keep that car on the track. Sorry to butt in there. It looks like he's holding up. Let's see. Is that for position? That is. It's not holding up. So Kuhn and Siebenar are battling out for 27th and 28th. Both are struggling to keep their cars on track.
Whether that's just down to tyres or...
But they're getting out the roads for the guy number 5. So Zacchetti. They are yielding the position.
Zucchetti,
They
yeah.
must be under blue flag. They're under blue flag.
They are. And he does, Siebenar again, make it difficult to pass, but he got...
Yeah, he's
does drag it wide.
The racing line there, that's good. So I think he's definitely moving out the roads, right? He is. He's doing as best he can to get out the roads. So I'll give him his due there. I think Stephen R just had a very, very unfortunate incident, which caused the 2 front runners to clash with him at a very, very bad timing.
So James now letting those front 2 through as well.
Yeah.
Those front 3, sorry. And Mattia now 2/10 from Lienmuller, maybe looking to use that the faster McLaren to make a move in James. Trying to get his tyres warmed up there.
Naughty, naughty.
Would be very entertaining if I could say, James, if you're watching the stream, give us the flashier lights, mate. But,
Miller had a faster exit at Woodcote there, so he seems to have kind of basically he's leaving Mattia. He's probably pulled another 10th away from him. Let's have a look. Into Maggots and Beckett's, who could throw their car around these corners and distribute the weight better? BMW, as overpowered as it is. I'm not sure if that's been something that's been changed. Oh, we've had someone in a Ferrari bail out, come off the racing line completely.
Can't tell who that was.
Car number 24, which is Alfonso. And then he's come back on track, and now James and Alfonso should have a battle here. There we go, James under braking is actually caught up. I wonder if Alfonso's got some damage.
Yeah, the
No.
number 66 Lamborghini doesn't look as if he does. The nice livery on this Lamborghini here.
Nice, looks mean, sleek, fast. But are those go faster stripes fast enough to keep Jay Williams at bay? I watched these two for a bit.
I'm looking else about the field. There isn't maybe as much action as we were used to. Because the
Yeah,
the
it seems
gap
to be
between
spread out now, doesn't it?
yeah. But as I say that, Mattia managing to make Sime up through corners in the draft perfectly. But Lima are once again defending very well. These guys.
These guys are they're transferring like thousandths of seconds to in between each other. Look at
They really
that!
are.
He's right up his rear fender, using that draft, trying to get that McLaren as fast as possible behind that overpowered Beamer. That's sheer trust there. The both of them actually went into that corner, hammer and tongs, and actually applied the brakes at the exact same time.
Mattia was close enough, pretty much, to get in the boot of that BMW.
It's close enough to see what he had for dinner last night.
yeah, bloody hell.
There we go. They're coming down Chapel into Stowe. So this is flat out, and then at that curved board, slam on the brakes, go down to third gear, coast into the corner, and then floor it out and just hold on for dear life. And then you're down into the Vale and Club chicane. This is where the car can be at its most unbalanced. And you're flat out round the corner there at Club, leading into Abbey. Abbey's a kind of funny corner. If you don't get Abbey right, it can really ruin your race. All you're doing is coming off the throttle ever so slightly, and then you floor it again. I've yet to see a car that can go round there flat out. And then into the slow section. I hate this section. It's called Village in the Loop, and if you're in the likes of the Bentley or anything heavy like a Nissan, it's very, very, very poor in this section. It loses a lot of time against all the other cars, because those cars are very, very slow in the slow corners.
And this, my friend, the advantage of having one of the drivers commentate alongside you, just pretty much get a track guide.
Well, I'm still learning the tracks, but I'm learning the corners, the corner names. I'm learning my braking distances, my braking zones, my exits, etc. I've got my Porsche dialed in. I'm just not fast in it yet. I've not got the right rig or the right setup. So this is what I'm aiming towards. I'm 2 years in. It's a hobby that I'm never ever going to ever not do from this point on. So,
having put a lot of time into it, you'd want to not drop it, really.
no. I don't not think about this. The only time I don't think about this is when my two kids are yapping at me, Dad, 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 Dad. Like, shush, I'm trying to think about sim racing. Don't play with your toys.
Go distract yourself with something completely irrelevant.
Go and paint a racing car, and then I'll come and see it.
Yeah. Go paint a Porsche.
Paint Daddy a nice, beautiful, rainbow-coloured Porsche. And I'll use that for my livery in my next race. Yes, Daddy! Whee! So I've got for the best part of my life, I've got two young girls, and they keep me on my toes. So when I'm not thinking about sim racing, I'm thinking about my kids, and when I'm not doing that, I'm working. So busy man, busy life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm so happy that Assetto Corsa Competizione landed on my lap when it did, because it's seen me through so many times where I could have been gazing into space, doing nothing.
I mean, fair enough. It's I'm gonna say an outlet from
Alright,
the
man,
real
I
world,
believe it was
really.
on the final lap. Give it a final push.
As
Oh
we do
God, we're
have,
on the final lap. Wow.
yeah, Alfie Barron now on the final lap.
That has
And it
been the
looks to be,
fastest 45 and most action-packed 45 minutes I think I've seen in a race so far.
it does go quickly. I found that with when I was commentating with James as well. Goes incredibly quickly. Who James, by the way, done very well for himself today. Definitely try and nab him for an interview.
Yes.
Well as unfortunately Alfie Barron not going to be able to because I don't know if he has his mic
Oh
yet.
no, you've just commentator's curse. James has just lost it.
Oh,
Oh!
how big was that damage? Kudasov was off as well.
Oh no.
Oh, I apologise, James. You'll have to forgive me for that one.
Yeah, that was Hydra, not me. Hydra mentioned your name, and all of a sudden you lost control, so blame Hydra. So
There's Wilhelm. Sorry, the two long boys now having to go at each other. Wilhelm and Petrovic's. Petrovic's now actually making a move in front, and there's contact again. All the contact coming out on the last lap.
what is going on? I
That's
think everyone's
incredible.
just pushing and pushing as hard as they possibly can. And what they've been thinking is, Derek's been sitting there doing pretty much nothing for the last portion of this race. Let's give him some work. Oh, James has been applied a 10-second penalty. I wonder if that's going to affect him.
For another battle in the midfield for P7, number 789 Ferrari. Not managing quite to get the move done. He does go off the track and does have to leave the position, but he does. We now go into whatever son that is. I do not know names.
Tadima and Longfellow. He's now in probably the best sandwich you can get in racing between two beautiful BMW M4s.
And there's the race over. Alfie Barron taking home the win, which will do good for his championship standings. Just waiting for the donuts to happen. There it is. There's Lean-Miller taking his second podium of the season, and oh god.
So I'm just watching, that's Toth over the line, but I'm just watching this Ferrari Beamer sandwich as they're coming down into Brooklands through left field and into Woodcote. I wonder if he's going to do like a move here because he's itching to get that move.
Only just too far back.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, he's pushing hard himself behind. So that was Stratton pushing so hard there. He was trying to make a difference coming into the final stretch. Oh, a nice wee bit of action there right at the end.
Wow.
That's Hergd and the Bentley coming over the line. Hosius in 12th. Popov followed by Labuse, who's just coming round Woodcote now. So Labuse, a 14th. That's good. I mean, it's fairly consistent. He's one of the kind of cleaner racers, like I says. Oh. Blanchett giving us a wee flash and a spin and a crash and a grass cutting. And our kind of back runners are now starting to come through.
Yeah.
Tanarillo.
Number 34 of Nielsen.
Camera's just come over the line. Nielsen, yes. Nielsen still.
And there's it. There it is. There's Nielsen. Oh, that looks. Oh, huge crash. He knocked his wheels out of alignment.
Yes. That's a write-off if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, I ask everyone this. Well, first off, Chris, I ask everyone this. Who was your driver of the day today, sir?
I think my driver of the day, although first, second and thirds, I think have kept themselves true the entire race, I'm going to give it to Toth. He had a really good practice session. I had a consistent, he took that run from practice into qualifying, and then he's took that onto the track and came fourth. So I'm going to give it to Toth today. I think he done really well.
Thank you very much.
And yes, and we have James in the chat.
We do. Welcome, James.
Hello, how are you?
Green light.
I'm not bad, thank you very much. Yourself?
Yeah, slightly disappointed, but it was nice to have a bit of a run out.
I mean, it
Well,
looks like a hell of a race from your from what we were seeing from your onboards as well. Managing to clear yourself up for.
Hopefully, you didn't catch the bit at the end with the Lamborghini.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately.
this was Hydra's comms curse. As soon as he mentioned your name, your back end went, and as you tried to kind of bring it back onto the track, you clipped the other car, and I don't know how much of control you had over that, but we were going to call it Hydra's comms curse.
It was a bit of a brain fart. I was a bit frustrated that I lost the back end coming out of the corner, and then tried to do a burnout to turn around and go the other way, and it ended up being a burnout by a granny, very, very slowly pulling myself across the track to take people out, which was nice.
Oh, it's just one of
Sure.
those unfortunate things. Your traction control kicked in and you couldn't get the back end to whip. You've done
Yeah,
really well. So
essentially.
you started in, I think it was 32, you were 32nd, and you've made your way up to 25th. So that's a good fight.
Yeah, it was not too bad. Just waiting for people to come off, really, which was a terrible way to think of racing. But yeah, I should have had at least another spot, but yeah,
I think you made it up to 22nd or 23rd at one point. So what happened there? We did miss it on camera.
I assume that was at the beginning of the race. I think I just lost it probably in exactly the same spot again, trying to do a 10-point turn.
Yeah, Silverestone does that. It can certainly, if you hit the curbs the wrong way, it can certainly throw your car off, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's is the way some tracks are, though. Tell you what, James, it's been very odd commentating without you tonight and being with Chris instead. Feels mildly wrong.
I know, it's a shame he's had to listen to my dulcet tones for an hour.
Not
I'm
complaining,
looking forward to listening it back.
Are you? Is anyone, though? Lovely. I don't think I've managed to get anyone else, so thank you very much, James, for coming on.
No problem. Cheers, guys.
No problem.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, James.
I think
there's no one else in comms.
No, which is annoying. I haven't actually managed to get anyone else, so only one interview tonight, which is unfortunate. But from everyone here at FRL, thank you guys all so much for watching the races. It's been a pleasure, as always. It's been a pleasure being alongside you this evening, Chris.
Thank you very much.
I
Anything
else you want to say before I sorry?
Well, I hope I'm not away from racing for too long, so I might get involved in more comms and definitely more stewarding. As I'm trying to doctor myself into kind of fitness again to be able to use my right foot on my rig. So you might hear my dulcet tones going forward, guys. And it's been a pleasure, Hydra. Thank you again for inviting me tonight.
No worries, it's been a pleasure. Once again, from everyone here at FRL, thank you very much. Would like to just make a reminder of the 12 hours of Monza. Very graciously is the wrong word. Very nicely set up by James and myself, who had the original idea. And a massive shout out to the guys at FRL for hosting that. Otherwise, I would have struggled to host it. So I'll put a link in the chat now for anyone else that would like to sign up.
Oh, excellent. Yep, I'll definitely get involved in that myself.
And once again, thank you guys all very much. And we shall see you for the finale. I don't actually know where the finale is.
The finale, just before I go then, I'll very quickly look. So that was round 6 at Silverestone. And the finale will take place next Friday, 8 o'clock, King of the Hill, Bathurst.
Ooh, that's gonna be tight. That's gonna be very, very tight.
That's going to be one to look forward to, guys. So we'll see how I am. I might take part in comms again for that if it's available.
Probably will be. Thank you very much, Chris.